You are now tuned in to the From Earth podcast with your host, Julius from Earth. Check us out on any of the major digital streaming platforms or on our website at FromEarthPodcast.buzzsprout.com. And as always, thank you for tapping in.
All right.
All right, here we go. Take two.
Take two.
Take two. What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Julius from Earth. I'm here with the From Earth podcast. I'm here with the homie Esoteric.
How you doing?
D. Davis.
Here, what's happening?
Meek is in the building.
Hello.
This is episode 61. This is like take 17
No.
on this recording tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't care what y'all got to do. I'm going to need y'all to watch this and listen to this because we got some stuff we got to get off our chest.
Yeah. A whole lot
he
to
means
say.
him.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty much talking about myself tonight. It's been a long day. It wasn't always feeling like that. I wasn't always feeling like this.
We
No,
here
you woke
for
up
you,
and
though.
chose glitter and then nothing. You just
No,
vibed.
I did it.
That's
I was cool this morning.
Did he say you chose glitter?
Yeah, I don't know where he's talking about.
He said, "Roll, yeah, I did, right?"
Yeah, I don't know. What are you talking about? You know what? Don't even worry about it.
Don't even explain.
I ain't even worried
So
about
Jesse, no.
it. Nah, we gonna cut all that.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk straight about just how soft people are these days.
Soft. Extra soft.
Charmin soft.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much, man. It bothers me.
Wow. Oh,
It bothers me.
It
it
should.
bothers you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of what I'm going to say tonight is probably going to contradict a lot of the stuff I've said in the past episodes.
Oh,
But
you're fed up. Huh?
I'm done. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm beat up. I'm to the point where it's like I just gotta let the chopper spray.
Oh.
For real.
And I'm going to come like the old dude on her, like the old gun, and be like, pow, pow.
Yeah, pew 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 pew. Nah,
I got you. Go ahead.
we gotta get into it.
We
We gotta
ready?
get into it.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I'm frustrated when I start hearing so many people complain about every aspect of everyday life. Right. You wake up and you watch the news and people are complaining. Then you get on social media if you choose to do that and people are complaining. You go walk around and you get into arguments with people. And it's like, I don't understand why everybody is so hypersensitive about everything, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's a compilation of stuff.
You said
Go
it's a
ahead.
compilation?
It's a compilation of stuff.
Listen, let me call it what it is. When we were having a conversation, the four of us were having a conversation last week about having a guest speaker, having an additional person or calling in or doing an interview with somebody.
Mhm.
And I was explaining how, for me, I know that person will be controversial because of their stance on a lot of things. And, we all said our piece and said what we felt would be, ideal or, the best approach to it. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I don't know how much I truly disagree. Even though we don't necessarily agree on the same subject matter, I think I can agree a little bit more on just being firm on we all operate in different spaces.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel me?
Mhm.
Like we all operate in different spaces. The only time our lives really kind of cross with other people is when we choose to do so.
Yeah.
Outside of working with other people, other cultures, other races, we spend most of our time. I spend most of my time around my own kind,
Right.
Absolutely.
around people that I'm familiar with, around people that I'm comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can choose to be around who you want to be around, but you can't start complaining when people start to look at everything, in a holistic or in totality, and start to put in ideas of what they think about people, or how other people, how groups of people act, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess where I'm going with this, right? Part of this conversation for me was surrounding the Jussie Smollett, the dude from what's the show?
Empire.
Empire.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out if it's Smollett or Smollett.
Yeah, whatever the dude.
We don't care.
But when he feels
don't
like
care.
being fancy,
We don't
he said
care.
Smollett.
Right.
When you say fancy, is that like when he's doing coke
No.
with the Nigerians, or when he's like in the bathhouse with the Nigerians?
Wait, so
Like,
he
which
has
is
to be doing illegal stuff to be fancy?
I mean, that's what he
That's
was
what he
doing.
was
This
doing.
was what this man got up on the stand and said.
Well, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, finish.
Nah, what I was going to say was I don't care about his lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm more concerned about the strays that the straight black man was catching when this dude was going through this whole court case and everything surrounding the story that he fabricated.
So the straight black man caught strays, like
The straight black man caught strays because we wasn't coming to do his defense.
oh, so that's when they wanted y'all to agree.
They wanted us to speak up and
On one
speak out.
accord.
Like
Okay.
black men don't support this, and it was like this ain't a black man thing. This is a dude that's lying.
Wow. But did y'all know that? That's what they're trying to say.
The whole
Before
story.
they found, well, yeah, we knew. We
what
knew.
it did do is identify the fact that people see sexuality over culture.
Mm.
It's funny how that works.
When it's convenient.
When it's
I'm about to
convenient.
say when it's convenient.
When it's convenient.
It's
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
So
Mm.
take that as you will.
So he's so funny. The part where you were talking about the softness and to tie that into, I think we were talking about before off mic, the whole how old is it? How old is too old to, you know what I mean? Kind of like the whole physical aggression thing.
Yeah. So what this all kind of ties into is how when I say we're soft as a people, I'm not talking about our generation sitting up here. All right, we're the last of a dying breed.
Yeah, we're definitely the last of the weekend.
And this is not me tooting my horn or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that the generation that came after us and the generation after
they
them,
couldn't even.
like everything makes them crumble. Everything.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not towing the line tonight. Like I don't understand, and I really don't support this whole pronoun thing. I don't. I'm not with
jumped, didn't he?
I'm not with it.
Talk your talk, bro.
You heard him? Like now I gotta figure out. Okay.
Why?
Yeah,
Tell us
let's
why
hear
you
that
don't support
story.
it.
So number one, I can identify as an elephant. That don't make me an elephant.
Oh.
I don't need to break this down and be all deep about it.
No, you do. Because, so here's what I'm asking. Do you have an issue with the fact that it's like a social requirement and you get berated if you don't do it? Or do you have an issue with the fact that if somebody says, hey, I would prefer to be called she or her versus he or him or they, them, like, is that an issue?
It's not
like
an issue about,
like, is it a personal level situation or is it the social commentary
thank you
level
for,
situation?
Thank you for bringing that, because that's really what it is.
Okay.
It's not so much a direct, like I'm going to walk up to your face and be like, who are you? What are you? No, it's not that.
Okay.
All right. It's not that. It's what you said, the whole social thing.
Yeah.
Right. Where the expectation is everybody has to be handled with kid gloves.
Yes.
You feel me?
Everybody
you got to walk on eggshells around everybody all the time.
Yes.
Right? Life ain't like that. Life is tough. I'm a black man in America.
Right.
Life is tough.
I would just like to identify as unarmed. You know
No,
what I mean?
for real.
Like, would that be okay?
For real. Yeah.
It depends on who's in charge that day.
What about you, Meg? What you trying to identify with?
I don't even want to get into that topic because I have so much to say.
Oh.
So we're going to just let that
we only got 30 minutes.
speech go.
Well,
We don't have enough time to get into how I feel about that.
I understand what you're saying, bro, and I get what you're saying, and maybe that's because we're part of the generation that we're a part. We're Gen X, right? We grew up being Gen X, and then somewhere along the line, somebody tried to change us to millennials. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not having that.
No.
Right? We grew up Gen X. That's what it is. We are the generation. We are the forgotten generation.
Absolutely.
Like literally the forgotten generation.
Oh my God.
We're the latchkey kid generation.
Can I please
You know what I'm
talk
saying?
about
We're
it?
the generation where parents weren't home when we got home from school.
Please.
We did our own schoolwork. Where we went over to friend's house after school because we didn't have parents anyway at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Where we had to raise ourselves. Where we had to raise our siblings.
Yeah.
Don't even.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the generation we came from. We didn't have time to be worrying about if somebody was mean to us. Right? When we got bullied, we punched somebody in the face.
Listen.
Right? Somebody talked too much, we started throwing fists.
Absolutely.
And that's what it was. And eventually you decided that if you ain't want to get punched in the mouth, you had to stop saying certain things.
We are never.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's kind of how things got handled on that level, on the level of life that we're at. I think the issue that we're at now is the people that are in charge, the people that make the rules, the people that have power over people's lives are pushing these narratives on us, and it's a false storyline, right? Like they're not pushing this on us for our benefit. They're pushing this on us so we can spend time self-policing and fighting with ourselves over these topics. They don't care, right? Like I said it a couple weeks ago.
I'm gonna say it again.
Your boss does not care.
Absolutely.
Your boss's boss does not care. Your boss's boss has no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
You bring up pronouns to some CEO, unless they are part of that community, they don't give a shit.
I just feel like I'm sorry. I just feel like that. I'm gonna toe a very fine line.
We're not towing lines.
Because I don't want them to get me or misconstrue what I'm saying. But as a heterosexual woman in 2021, I feel like it's very intrusive. And it's very like, I'm going to put my shit on you. That whole, like, the pronouns, the he, she. I feel like I don't need to know what you do outside in your personal life. I don't need to know who you love or who you want to mate and do whatever with. We are here to do a job. So you signing your signature with all of these, this is my name, she, that, she, her, whatever. To me, I feel like this is very like, I don't care about that. That has nothing to do with me. So why do you have to put that in my face? I feel like this is just how I feel against this topic. That everybody that came after the civil rights movement have used our platform to push their agenda. But when it comes time to standing with us to say, like, just like we don't have no recognition, no acknowledgement, no, they went through it first, let's reward, let's what's the word? Reparations, or let's make their thing or their issues whole. Let's address their concerns first. No, they all went on this whole discrimination thing, and my thing is like everybody is sensitive to everybody else's discrimination or their feelings except for us. But y'all used us as your platform to get your rights, to get you in Congress, and get your little bills signed, to give you these rights to be able to sit in the office and say, she, he, they, her, I don't want to be acknowledged as this because my wife. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't care about that.
I mean, a lot
Please
of that
stop me before I keep going and say some other shit that I shouldn't say on camera.
Like you can tell the strength of the people by the shit we go through. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these, like you say, these people we have talking now, identifying pronouns or whatever other situations that are out there, is the strength of Black man and woman is a lot of these things that we may not get past for ourselves. A lot of other things are built upon. And multifaceted, there you go, whatever.
That wasn't it.
Not that one either. Rewind it.
Multifaceted platforms to where they'll use us as an example.
Yeah.
For whatever examples need to be set, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever it is.
And then they will appropriate it to whatever the agenda is at that time. So, we're looking at it from 4 Black individuals complaining about the weaknesses of others. That's probably true, because the strength we have to continue to fight, we can't give up. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of it comes from, is from that lens of y'all have so much and don't even understand how you got it.
Can I be honest here?
Go ahead.
I don't even want to lie and act like we have unity within the Black community.
Don't even go there.
Between men and women. There's not, like, so here's where I'm at with it, right?
Tory Lanez has entered the chat.
You want to get me started tonight? Is that what it is?
Nah, let me call it like I see it, right?
Okay.
There's been almost a bit of an agenda to separate the Black man from the Black woman, right? I don't know who started it. B, maybe you got more details on that than I do. But the issue is that thought process, the action of it, kind of continues to permeate throughout our culture, throughout our people, right? I can't think of in any other race, in any other culture, where every woman is raised up to be, the independent, strong, this, that don't need no man, that don't need this, right? I'm not saying that I don't support Black women, because I'm on record.
And that's so funny. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm on record with where I'm at with it, right? The issue is that who pit us against each other? right? Like it's to the point now where men can't be men. And this is what I was trying to say earlier. Like men, like if a man does man things in a man space, we're toxic. It's like, yo, nah, you gotta understand, like everything that we're designed to do is how we operate.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking about the people, those dudes who are irrational or take things too far or are excessive or are abusive. I'm not those aren't men. Those aren't men. We don't affiliate with them. We don't recognize them. They are not with us.
See?
All right? They're not with us.
See, but when I said that about women, how we have different levels and tiers, and every woman that's a woman or black or whatever does not always sit with us. It's the same with men. Like because it's what you do, especially if I don't agree with it. Yeah, I'm not going to condone it just because you're a guy. I might not put you out there in front of other people, but yeah, you're going to know that I don't agree with what you're doing, and you don't speak for me.
Okay. But I guess kind of where I'm at with it though is I'm just talking about guys just doing guy things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But what you're saying, when you just said they don't sit with us, they don't do that.
Yeah, no.
It's a different kind of.
We're not counting them. They don't get counted. They're not in the fold.
And we don't count those women either.
And this ain't a what about topic though. This is what I'm trying to get to.
No, I was just saying, like I had said
this ain't a what about
ago.
topic. You here, so I'm gonna let you rock.
Okay.
But this ain't a what about topic. This is,
excuse me.
No, you good. You good.
Got
You cool.
Let me get back in my lane. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This episode is sponsored by.
Let me right. Let me go back over here and wing it. Go ahead.
Nah, like Big, we were talking about this earlier. About what age is too old for men to stop engaging in physical altercation.
Never too old.
When they got beef.
No.
Yeah. I don't think there's a cutoff age.
Yeah.
There ain't no cutoff age for beef.
Can I just give a shout out real quick?
In my opinion, there ain't no cutoff age for beef.
There is no. The shout out to we are never too old for this. Like it's a whole hashtag on social media. Yes, we're never too old for this. If you're going to do it, we're going to address it. We're going however it goes.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I told you earlier, like literally my soul agrees with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But then there's a rational part of my brain that says, why, as a 40-year-old man, am I out here in the streets fighting with somebody?
Because they trying you.
Wait, but hold up, because how they are trying me has to matter in this conversation.
So it don't matter.
No, it does matter. Because if it's a situation that I can walk away from, I probably should. If it's a situation to where my life's in danger, somebody's life close to me is in danger, you know what I'm saying? Or a situation that I otherwise can't walk away from safely. Like it's not about my pride in that moment. You understand what I'm saying? Like there has to be a real reason why I'm going to be out here fighting somebody.
The way that I explained it earlier to you was that if physical altercation is required, it's generally because there were repeated infractions against me, in my face.
Correct.
Or on several occasions.
Right.
Because I'm not suggesting or recommending that you just walk up and just punch people all day, every day.
No,
that's not what I'm saying. That's not beef. That's just you being an asshole.
I mean, so do you do things like that?
Only on Thursdays.
Oh,
perfect. Tomorrow. Come catch it.
Yeah.
So
I want to be.
So I guess what spurred that question was in relation to the whole Jim Jones, Freddie Gibbs, situation.
Jim Jones.
Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah, the rapper bull.
Yeah. I never heard the story. What's his story?
Yeah, so they met up at 112, in Miami.
Okay.
Right, and they've had words in the past. Freddie Gibbs said some things on record, about Jim Jones. Things that have gang affiliations and things like that, right?
Oh.
But it was old beef, right? And so my situation or my question about that is, like, I really think this beef was over 5 years old at this point. You know what I'm saying?
So
at what point, as Jim Jones being a 45-year-old man, Freddie being a 40-year-old man, like, should they have come to physical blows over this for something that relatively is not actually that important?
To you.
Well, I don't think it's more that.
Wait, hold on. Let me answer that real quick. These are both people that have large quantities of money.
So,
right? Which means they can afford plane tickets. If it was that important, You telling me it took 5 years for them to cross paths?
I'm saying.
You see
Sometimes,
what
but
I mean,
here's the
though?
thing.
Because if I know somebody who's talking shit and it's that big of a deal, I'm pulling up.
Well,
and it's not going to take me 5 years to get there.
Well, a lot of times these things happen all just in circumstance. You know, like that situation is not something unless you're looking for the fight.
Right.
You know, but I don't think that would even go to the question what you're asking is how old is too old? Because if you're looking for a fight, you're going to find it. You know, in this case, it's more or less like, does your thinking change with your age?
And that I guess that's what I'm trying to get. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like at 25, yeah, maybe I wanted to let that beef fester a little bit.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Maybe it was like, oh, when I see you, don't matter when I see you, I'm coming after you. Right. But right now, as a 40-year-old man, if it's not important enough for me to address right now, why isn't it important enough for me to fight about?
I'm gonna tell you why that is. Because they still operate in similar spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
They still. You just said 40 and 45, and they still running, bumping into each other in the club.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was 112 Steakhouses. Yeah, man, it's not necessarily a club.
Oh, the steakhouse.
It's fine dining restaurant.
Yes, the world class.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Steaks is like 175 or something like that.
Yeah, but you said they got it, right?
Shout out to Capital Grill.
Yo, yeah, we need to go back.
We not feel you. Sorry.
Nah, but like I was saying, they operate in similar spaces, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And both of them is grown men.
Yeah, yeah.
And both of them had beef.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them probably still popped off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what the issue is with them fighting.
Like
I get what you're saying, like, yo, let's be grown and mature about it, right?
Right.
But at the same time, like, did we ever say in any other time to Jim Jones, yo, be grown up and be mature?
I mean,
did we ever say that to Freddie Gibbs? Like, I know Freddie, like, we don't ask rappers to be grown and mature. We ask them to rap about everything that they saw, everything that they participated in. Like, that's what they do. It's in their spirit.
Yeah, but that becomes exceptions to the rule of what we're asking.
What do you mean?
Because if we're saying we don't expect them to do that, then there's no age as long as you're doing a certain thing.
If they were businessmen,
well, I'm saying they are
this be
businessmen.
acceptable. But I mean, if they were considered classic,
but they beef differently though, right? If you're businessmen beef differently, yo. They gonna one gonna try to take the other person's company. They gonna try to take the other person's money.
But that's the part.
But this is
This
is Bone in 3-6 all over
But
again.
that's the I'm about to say that's the perfect thing. What I'm talking about when I say that I want to just put it on hip hop. It's just about the whole level of the respect factor and the don't play on my face type thing. You know what I mean? And just for even with us working in the office, well, you know, we'll talk about that later. But even with us in the office environment, the things that some of these supervisors do under the guise of, oh, this is operation, you know what I mean?
We'll get them slapped on the
If
street.
they was on the street to get their ass
yes,
whooped.
absolutely.
Corporate people, they be fight. When you look on what is it, CNN?
When I said earlier, beef is different when you're talking about peers, contemporaries, competitors, right? If I'm a frontline worker
Mm-hmm.
and you're my direct supervisor or you're my supervisor's supervisor,
Mm-hmm.
I understand in that situation there's a power dynamic, right? So if I just haul off and just slap you on the floor,
Mail me my check.
Yeah, pretty much. Chances are,
but I know that walking
I'm done
into
that
it.
day, right?
Trust and believe, I know that going
But
into it.
if you and I are peer forklift drivers,
we get busy on break time.
You keep like you said, playing in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, when it's lunchtime, you'll see me in the parking lot behind the food truck.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I guess this is where I differ, right? Not that I don't agree with you, but I view disrespect as disrespect, and I don't care who it's coming from, right? And so this is why I'm saying, regardless of who it's coming from, depending on the situation, if I can walk away, I probably should. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know, again, talking about Jim and Freddie, right? They don't have 9 to 5s. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I have to get up and go to work every day to pay my bills, keep my roof over my head.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that issue. Now, if I didn't have that issue,
It'd be dangerous.
exactly, I might be out here slapping a whole lot more people than what I'm doing right now.
Oh, you slapping bitches?
I mean, hey, man. You
His
know
on
what I'm saying?
Fridays.
Oh, his on Fridays?
Only if they like it like that. You know what I'm
He
saying?
follow up what
But
you
listen.
leave behind.
But for me, like if it's disrespect, it's disrespect. And I
Yeah.
don't care who
Right.
you are.
And
You
we're
know what
never
I mean?
too old to address it.
But that's
Well, some things
where,
you just gotta let go. I mean, that's the thing. Like with maturity, you gotta come with that age.
and
you know
that's,
what I'm saying?
the,
And
that's the
the
question. Is
lack.
it a maturity thing,
It's
or is
100% maturity.
Or is it I can't let
Listen,
you play on my
We
face?
all
thing?
have beef with people that we
Yeah.
have not squashed back in the day.
And most people
in
who
some
know how-
aspects. If I see that person today, I'm not sitting there trying to rehash that.
Yeah,
I'm
nah.
ignoring them unless they come to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in their face. It's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Was it worth my time to squash it then? It's not worth my time 15, 20, 30 years from now
Is it her?
to sit here and be like, yo, you remember when you said this, or you remember when you did that? Like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like,
'cause
what's the
I
point?
have an
Because like you
issue.
said, if I had an issue, I'm pulling up that day.
Right.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
gonna
might have
squash
to
it
do
right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to curtail anything. I don't need to sit here and just wait till how you feel, and hopefully you'll change your thinking
But
about
what
it.
if I had to take time to think about it for just a little bit to make sure that I wasn't being overly emotional or I wasn't reading it wrong? So what if I needed to take a little bit of a minute to take some time to say it? It might have took a couple years. Listen, sometimes if you're not in my immediate face, then it's like next time I see them, then I'm gonna address it. You see what I'm saying?
No, but I mean, if you're addressing it with a collective head,
Yeah.
is what you're sounding like. You know what I'm saying? That's different than yo. What's like? We got some shit to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like that's different.
Yo, there's literally a phrase for what we're referring to, and it's called on site.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah.
Right.
On
Yeah,
site.
That's
Tom and
literally the
Jerry.
phrase for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
want Tom and
necessarily
Jerry
need
time.
to. I don't necessarily need to buy a plane ticket, get an Uber. You know what I mean? Google Earth your your location, or like dude did a few years ago. Meet me in Temecula.
These Gen Zs and millennials.
I ain't got to do that because listen, if you on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, and this is internet beef. Internet beef ain't nothing.
But see, that goes back to if you're really about it. You see what I'm saying? Because my thing is this: if you know what you did was foul or moving flaw, and I approach you or I confront you on it, like yeah, I can fight a little bit. So I'm not gonna waste my time as far as like coming to wherever you are to fight you. But I'm gonna let you know in that dialogue the next time I see you, wherever I see you, however long it is that I see you, it's still going to be the same energy.
Yeah,
And people always
go
try
ahead.
to play on, I'm going to give it some time.
Mhm.
They'll forget about it as time goes by. I am the perfect person. Yeah, I'm childish, petty. I will hold it. I will do all of the above. And we won't move on until you either address that shit, because I feel like a behavior that's not addressed or told that you violated, you're going to repeat it. And then when I smack you, you're going to be like, well, what the hell? Like, no, I'm pissed now.
Yeah.
No more talking about it. It is what it is. But everybody can't fight.
Everybody can't fight.
So
like, nah, let's just
And that's
throw it in.
and that's exactly why everybody shouldn't be talking shit.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Boom, there it is right there. Like if you ain't got hands,
Yeah.
you gotta make sure. Listen, it's like you go to the grocery store, right? And you only got $50. You can't buy $100 worth of groceries.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same principle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't keep popping off, and you can't fight.
And that's the problem.
I don't care
That's
how
happening.
how childish this might sound. There's a principle behind it.
That's
There
the
is.
problem that's
You're
happening with
absolutely right,
today.
You know what I mean? And the principle is, like I said, if you're gonna keep playing in my face, you're gonna disrespect
Mhm.
me, and you won't move on or move away or
Mm-hmm.
give me the opportunity. I get what you're saying. If we can put space and distance and time between
Mhm.
us,
Yeah.
then yeah, that should always be option number one, right?
Right. But it's a thin line between that and option two.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
that I understand.
Bro,
it's a very thin line.
You can't allow somebody to continually just disrespect you over and over. That's in any aspect of life.
Facts. Yeah.
You just can't allow it. Like me say, you got to address it. You got to correct it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, people just gonna think that you cool with it, and they can just let it slide, and it can happen, continue to happen again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't let shit go off for that long if they're continuing disrespecting you, and you feel that's the age. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna pop that off sometime early.
But sometimes, for the sake of the bigger picture, people choose to be the bigger person, or
Correct.
choose to. I'm not gonna address that right now, because if I address that right now, what we need to accomplish won't get accomplished. And then the person who's violating takes their silence for privileged to keep on doing the bullshit. And then that's when stuff just keeps piling and piling and piling. I have learned from experience, and that's why I'm very like, let's confront this now.
Yeah.
Like, let's get this out the way. Let's get some clarity. Let's be clear on where we are all standing. Because I'm not a person that could even sit around where I feel a fake vibe and operate to the best of me.
I think we're giving too much credit to those thinking like that, or not thinking like that, because they don't. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying anything, let me be the bigger person and come to you about it later. If that's the case, you still would announce it. If I have an issue with you, right, I'm going to say, look, we got some stuff to talk about. I'm not going to talk to you about it right now.
Yeah.
Give me time.
But that's the person
we're going to iron this out. You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about rational people having this conversation, but what Jules is talking about, a person who don't give a fuck.
Well, no, but these are also people who grew up with all they knowing at the time is hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we predicated their careers on. That's what we expected of them. So when we get back to that point, you know what I'm saying, and the expectation is still there.
Listen, when you know, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro, because like we just said, we from a different generation. You knew the dude that all they did was fight.
That's all we did.
And you knew exactly what you could and what you could not say to that person.
Pretty much.
You feel me? Like, if somebody challenges you, they say some stuff you don't like, they disrespect you, that's literally what they're doing. They are disrespecting you. They are disrespecting your hands. They are disrespecting your character. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, two rational, reasonable, mature people can't have a conversation about a disagreement. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to know the difference.
Yeah, because once it's beef, there's a difference, right? Like once it's to that point where you're considering that, like once it's to the point where you're considering putting hands on somebody,
there's no time for these friends before.
Right, the rational portion has left the building.
We got all kinds of phrases for that, hand down, man down,
all of that.
This ain't all I do.
Absolutely.
The stance, the look, the leaning.
Yes,
there's so many identifiers and factors. When somebody's not for the play.
Absolutely. Exactly. Like I hope that I present that I'm not. So I hope that
you're definitely not for the play.
I just want y'all to know. But listen,
that was on full display at about 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Right.
But that goes back to what I was saying. Like, let's address whatever, so it don't go too far.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I am all about. I want to be comfortable. First of all,
But you know why? I'm sorry to cut you off. But you know why that was important and why that had to happen like that?
Why?
I'm gonna keep coming back to this because we operate in the same space. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like if you wasn't coming back, if you wasn't here, that conversation it may have still happened. It may not have happened. It wouldn't have happened like it happened today. I tell you that much. You feel me? So that's what I'm saying. Like it's like we operate when you operate in similar spaces with people. You gotta understand that everybody they need their elbow room.
Right.
But not only that, but see, for us to have, like you said, operate in the same space, we also had to have the maturity and the understanding of there's an agenda. You see what I'm saying? And there was and it was honesty. It wasn't any, once you bring out what the issue is, this was my intention, this is what happened, and it's clear. But what happens when people start to try to lie or tap dance around the truth and be facetious and say stuff like, well, no, I wasn't trying to be funny, but they really was. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, so you're trying to play in my face. I wasn't trying to be
no funny. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying, like, that's what happens when people, they try to make these little.
She'll try to come my neck tonight.
No, I'm not. No, we're good. We're good. Absolutely good.
Yeah, we high five. Y'all see that? We high five.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely good. Because here's the thing.
Coming together.
Right, you see it, right?
The flags
we
together.
fish fry here.
Yes, get it going. But no, like everybody don't operate under that notion of I'm not trying to. I know the agenda. I know what we're here to do. But if something is said, because like he said, I don't know or I didn't know y'all's dynamic, and I'm just kind of coming into it. So yeah, we have to in any relationship smooth things out or transition so that everybody is on the same page. And when that does not happen, it leaves room for interpretation. And when that happens, it's off to the races if nobody catches it in time. But I'm glad we did.
There we go.
Yeah. We work.
Next time, bring something to drink.
I will.
Drinking up all that alcohol.
So today I learned that we can keep slapping people.
Yes.
And you're never too old.
Thursdays
Never
and
too
Fridays.
old.
If
Never
it's
too
beef,
old.
apparently.
Never too old.
Correct.
I like it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Never too old.
Mm-mm.
The last thing, because we're gonna make this a shorter episode tonight.
Really? Because number one was
so
interesting.
sad.
What'd you say?
Number one is real interesting.
Number one.
Number one.
What's
you
number
wanna
one?
get into it?
Let's
real
go
quick?
into that.
What's number
It
one?
doesn't really tie into anything that we were already just talking about.
Nah, but fuck it, let's do
But
it anyway.
but SO is feeling spicy.
Spicy.
He's feeling
Let me
spicy.
tell you why I like number one. Because I want to hear what your take is
He
on
brought the ketchup tonight.
Spicy,
spicy ketchup.
Mm. Okay.
What was on the list to talk about was interracial dating.
Oh.
And just kind of, I wanted to kind of get out everybody's stand. I mean, I'm familiar with everybody here, where y'all stand on interracial dating. But I wanted to get into if anybody feels like that's more of a preference, as opposed to like, it just kind of happens.
Nah.
You see me? You got talking to the mic.
I was literally back.
Yeah, you was.
Okay.
You
My
was.
bad. My bad.
You had something to add?
No, that's not my preference. For several reasons.
Mhm.
But I don't feel any kind of way to someone who does.
Yeah.
It's just not my preference. Because I have all kind of preconceived notions, if you want to call them,
Mhm.
that prevents me from being free in a relationship the way I need to be with someone of another race.
Okay.
So, for example, for me, like, as a Black woman, it's no secret that, men of other races look at us as exotic or something to conquer or something to try. You know what I mean? So for me,
Can I touch your hair?
I'm about to say, are you for real? Because listen, that happens all the time. So for me, it has always been like I want to be comfortable with whoever I'm with. And I think I was talking to B about this when I said that I had plenty of, guys when I went to school. I went to school in Wayne, New Jersey, which, is not predominantly us. So there were diverse people on my campus. And there was, a couple guys that would approach me and want to take me out. And they were really, really nice and handsome and all that stuff. But I, with my own shit, in the back of my mind was like, what would your grandmom say at the table? Because, Italian grandmoms or German grandmoms or, not necessarily a fan of me.
Germans?
He was like a mix. He was like
because they're
Italian.
usually more accepting of the people. Okay.
Yeah, but he was like Italian, German, Sicilian, some of all these that I know don't really care for my type. You know what I mean? So my thing to him was like, yeah, you like me. Yeah, your mom might be in, but you're real cool with your grandma. How would she feel? And I would always in the back of my mind be thinking that, so I wouldn't be comfortable. So I've just never done it.
So it was a comfort level for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then plus,
I don't know, but
just I have
what
my preference.
What exactly you saying? So it's a preference.
It is because I just look at.
Are you just gonna keep going?
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Transition.
This is segment.
No, because for me, it's just like I said, a preference.
Yeah.
So I have not seen a Caucasian, an Asian that would make me be like, oh, him naked. Do I look at what's his name? I used to be a real big fan, like Thor. Oh my God, the guy that plays Thor, what's his name?
Chris Hemsworth.
Love him. Would I actually pursue him? Nah, I probably wouldn't. I would just be flirty, all of the above. But as far as like,
till you drop that hammer,
I would probably be flirty and all of the above. But I would not go. I don't know. I feel like for me, I have
can you pick up Thor's hammer?
He's so stupid. Before I got married, I just always wanted to not have to explain myself too much in a relationship. I wanted my husband or my mate to be able to connect with me on a way that they knew my struggle because they also had that struggle, or they have sisters or mom or cousin who had that same struggle, so they're kind of sensitive to my plight.
So I know you got something to say.
I do. There was a time growing up I probably wouldn't have thought so, and then I have dated interracially.
Okay.
And it's actually opened my eyes to the things we become naive to and don't allow ourselves to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So in some aspects, I do think it's important for the growth of a human being to experience other than what you already know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of times I think we fall victim of, you know, the comfort zones, you know, the passed down expectations of our forefathers and, you know, parents for that matter. But, you know, I do think there is a aspect of it to where it's almost necessary to, especially in this day and age. You know, we talk about, you know, how we're going to end racism and this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, a lot of that has to be with understanding the other person, the other people, you know, and we can't expect much if you don't know anything of how they operate. You know, and it's like an easy, I don't want to say it's easy access, but it's a window to another world that you need to put yourself into to be able to make a change for your own.
And
if that makes sense.
I hear that, and I have some of my best friends are white, like, you know.
That line.
Yeah, I have some very great white friends. You know what I mean? Like, I have a really good Asian friend. Like, yeah, but I don't want to.
Friend? Did you say?
I don't want to date them.
Single.
You know what I mean? Like, I just. Okay, so for me, let me ask you this question. And so, like, what? Because I made this kind of statement before on the Venusian episode when I was talking about how my inquiry was, what is it that makes a black man get
date outside of his race?
Yeah, not they won't get a Caucasian girl to be complete, but they'll say a foreign girl, and they'll, you know what I mean? It's like, what is it that makes you? Let me give you the backstory because me and B were talking about this.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
What?
We having private conversations now?
Me and B were talking about this. My feelings. I just want to know.
Oh, you were sensitive, B.
Yo, he's quiet. He ain't said nothing. Yo,
Am I saying you out there? You're not this guy. Are you not? He was very understanding.
Oh, you were understanding, huh?
We just talked about not being sensitive.
I'm sorry,
B is over
no,
here
he was very like hair on his chest. He was very like, fuck
Sir,
that.
how many do you wear your hoodie next week?
No, but what? Like what? Okay, because here's my thing. As I explained to B, I have Caucasian women that have married into my family.
Mm-hmm.
There's one, my cousin's wife. She is like the opposite of my experience because my experience has been that it's kind of like a possessive for me as a black woman looking at any black man. Like, that's my brother. Like, how you gonna come up in here and benefit from? Because I'm pretty sure he had an aunt or a sister or a cousin that kind of kept him to being a good dude. You see what I'm saying? And so, like I explained to B, I said my issue. I got over it. I did. I worked through it. But for a long time, that was my issue. That was my complaint. Like, I'm a sister, an aunt, a cousin. You know what I mean? Who have helped keep a lot of black men, a lot of men of color, and where somebody else wanted them because it was like don't do her like that.
How you gatekeeping relationships?
I do because
what is happening here?
Let me ask you a question.
This is why I'm an excellent wingman because I understand the fact that I'm gonna play the role like you said. I make y'all appealing because they see y'all like, well, he's nice to her, he's polite to her, he has that ability to be that. He's doing that for this other girl. You know what I'm saying? So when men or when other girls see a guy with a female friend, family member, whatever, and he's so respectable and he's so whatever, some of y'all guys use that to your advantage to then use that to date. Y'all do.
We would never.
Like you read Deuteronomy? Is that the same thing? But no, I do. I'm honest. I tell them, like, listen, and I had to realize that the difference for myself. That like Julius is an excellent friend. You see what I'm saying?
I know.
Esso is an excellent friend to me. But you might be an asshole to the girl you're dating.
No, I'm consistent all around.
True, you are.
Yes, thank you.
But
Consistent.
there's some guys that, you know what I'm saying? They're excellent to the girls that they had that bond with. That's my little sister. That's my big sister.
So let me ask you a question
whatever.
because this is actually. Are you speaking for black women or women?
Speaking for right now for Black women.
So is that a cultural thing that we look at in some aspects is why you're dating my men? Because or is this something other cultures would think of as well?
They might have that attitude because, like I said, I'm a sister, a aunt, a cousin, or whatever who has.
You better be careful. You got the big joker.
Who?
That's who got the big joker.
I don't give a damn about that. He asked me a question. I'm answering my question as far as what I'm saying. That when I look at it, I'm not looking at it like that's my man.
No, I mean,
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, like I said, for me as a woman who has brothers, cousins, whatever, and they're excellent dudes. Like, for example, I'm the female that sits in a room when other women say, ain't no good men. Ain't no good men. They all full of shit. They all whatever. I'm saying, like, no, there's a lot of great men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm related to half of them. I'm cool with a lot of them. There's a lot of great men. So you can't say that. When I said sorry, babe. What I previously said was...
You're still quiet, too.
I know, right? What I previously said was...
Sit this one out, sir.
It bothered me. Like I said, I worked through it.
Right.
But it did, at the time, bother me to have to watch this guy who I know is a great guy. Awesome man. He goes and then be great for this other woman who's not of color. You see what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing, all right? So,
but that's my personal thing.
No, and I get that. But a lot of women feel the way you do, and a lot of women do the exact opposite of that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you have women who call Black men niggas all day, all day,
Mm-hmm.
like a normal speech pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want my nigga to be such and such. I want me to do such and such. You know what I'm saying? So, first and foremost, for me as a Black man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm immediately turned off.
Absolutely.
You are shutting down a generation
Mm-hmm.
and a culture because of how you and yours act sometimes when you refer to me. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to give the respect to earn me.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't give that, why am I bothering with that? Because you're showing me anger before you even know me.
Oh my God. So when I was talking to my husband about this, and I was telling him that we had the conversation about interracial dating or whatever. And the point that he gave was, in your defense, he was like, Black men who choose to date outside of their race, he's like, usually, and this is what he said because it's easier. Only because of the fact that, and I had to take it in when he said it, I was like, oh, well, yeah.
All right, I'm stepping in. So.
Did you just cut me off?
I did.
Nah, you gotta let her finish that last.
I know. I want to hear the rest, bro.
Yeah, I need to understand the rationale of what she was saying.
Let's go. Rock out.
So basically, he was saying that it's easier because there's something with Black women where we're hard. You know what I mean? And so because we have the heart that we have had to develop over these years or whatever, we kind of come at y'all, or we have this exterior that y'all don't feel like fighting through. You know what I'm saying? And so because other races of women don't have the struggle that we have, they don't have that hard ass exterior or that difficult, it's my way, I'm in here running this, I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Right. So for a man who's on his shit, which we already established, when y'all are on y'all shit, y'all are totally different from us as women when we're on our shit. We are very patient with y'all when y'all don't have, whereas y'all on the flip side, when y'all have, y'all are very no nonsense.
Oh, look, you can't say all men. Like,
the majority. I'm not. When I say things, I don't speak in absolutes. I don't speak in absolutes, but the majority of men who have their shit together are way less patient.
All right, so
than women who have their shit together.
Because even a man who doesn't have his shit together, who dates outside and said gets a white woman, you're still saying the same shit about that man who doesn't have shit. So it doesn't make a difference.
I wasn't saying you took my 2 points and put them together.
No, but that's the point is you can't say that it doesn't make a difference and some men are doing or not on their shit or some are, right? Fine, I'll give you that. The man who ain't shit, so to speak, who then gets somebody outside of his race, is still in the same boat as the man who has his shit together. As far as generalizations don't make it, as far as Black men dating outside the race, it doesn't make a difference whether he does or doesn't. The fact of the matter is the color of his skin does not line up with the person he's in front of. So the relevance of status is zero because, well, I mean, again, it doesn't matter because there's men who don't have their shit together.
And what they do, they find the woman. Whether what color she is, but the majority of the time it's a woman of non-color or a non-Black woman because they accept. They don't want to be the one because all of a sudden we're the angry Black woman. we're fighting and giving. And so what they say to us, because we hear it in the comments and what we see when they trying to look,
Right.
they got our man is, well, if you didn't do and if you weren't, then he wouldn't come to me. Like, we have to hear that shit.
Let me put something, and I agree with you, but we are the only culture that people look down upon to use as a reference as you're acting black or you're acting like a black woman.
Or acting white.
No, I mean, we say that amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as a worldly view, you know what I'm saying? Like, other cultures would say you're acting this way. You're acting. Like, no one says you're acting Asian. You're acting Sicilian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah.
The way is you're acting black.
But only when does
as a
that
negative
come?
connotation
But
from
when does that come, though?
No, however that may be. You know what I'm saying? Now, black men and women in this country, born and raised in this country, don't have a cultural background to sustain themselves as far as being who they are to be identified with. So
We just don't play no shit.
the thing is, a lot of our values and morals and all these other things have come from what has been imposed upon us and our ancestors before, because we've been stripped of everything. So when we're dating outside our race, it's not because it's only because of color, not because of culture. Because the shit we learn is still based on what our white predecessors imposed on our, prejudged generation before that. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the issue, is we're looking at it from just a single standpoint. Dating outside your race, so I go back to my point earlier, is important for a lot to change. But when we keep that single mindset of being your mind, the issues fall along with that, because you're not willing to adapt to the necessary views that could possibly free you.
See, I was with you, bro, and then you got to that point.
No, bro, like,
Nah, I can't let you do that, bro.
what are you talking about?
Interracial dating is not creating world peace and harmony.
I'm not
No,
I'm not
it's
saying
not.
that. I'm not saying
What are we?
bro,
I was letting
so
them
here's
rock
the thing,
out.
right?
I was letting them rock.
I'm not saying to the point where it's like it's going to change everything, right? But when you do, you see a different world. Do you not?
No,
You don't.
no, I don't.
So you just date all ratchet.
Listen, I date whoever, bro. I find a vibe and I go for it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But like, I don't think you don't need a grandiose, flowery
Quick question,
reason.
though. How many different I don't want to say races. How many different cultures have you dated?
Top of my head, 6.
Now, did they
He's
each treat you the
ballin'.
same, or did you find differences amongst them as far as how you were being treated in that relationship?
Here's the problem
I'm
with this.
genuinely asking.
No, and I'm about to answer you. But here's the problem with this line of questioning. People treat you differently. You understand what I'm saying? I don't date races. I date people.
Correct.
Right? So for me,
But we just had discussions saying that we were brought up.
Esso got a bingo chart, bro.
We
All right,
just
so
said,
listen,
we just said
bro,
on this pod about 20 minutes ago, did we not, saying that the independent black woman, right?
Yep, okay.
That is not something most cultures, if any other, outside of our own treats.
But
Or
who coined that phrase?
Beyonce?
We didn't coin that independent black woman thing. We didn't even if you can try to say that we created it, why was it necessary to be created?
it's not even necessary.
It's
to
not
create
even
it.
necessary.
No, y'all just adopt it.
No.
Who created
Stop. Come on. Don't do that.
Why not?
No woman.
I let y'all rock out, right?
No woman is sitting around. No woman. I don't give a damn what she says. No woman is sitting around wanting to go through the bullshit. No matter how much money's in her paycheck, them fucking check stubs ain't keeping her warm at night. Them check stubs ain't doing what she needed to do. So no woman wants to be. We want to be independently dependent. Like, we want to have our own thing, but we still want to have you.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah.
That makes sense to you.
Perfect fucking sense. I want to have my own thing, and I still want to have you. Why can't I? Because I don't want to lose myself in being with you.
That's exactly why black men date outside their race.
And that's
This don't make no
did
sense.
they not just confirm what I just said about it? Y'all feel like it's easier.
This is illogical.
It's easier.
It's illogical.
Why is that
easier.
illogical, bro?
Because other races, other cultures are taught that the woman is not seen. That's the difference.
Got it.
That's the difference that I see. Other cultures or women are not raised to be able to have a say so. Other cultures are women that, like, for example, I think it was a Muslim. She has to walk behind, or Indian, they have to walk behind their husband. They can't even walk next to or like.
Is that what you want?
Muslims are religion.
No.
All right then. So what's the problem?
But I'm just saying,
Like,
I just know about my point.
Yeah.
Was that other, like black women, we are, because of how we were raised,
Mhm.
because there's so many single moms,
Okay.
because it's the dads aren't where they're supposed to be, or the men aren't where they're supposed to be, whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
that whole, you don't need to, you have to still keep going on and pushing.
Okay.
You got to still make it happen.
I hear you. I get you. But
We didn't want that to be what it was, but we have to make the best of what's remains.
yeah, but we can't romanticize what we feel like other cultures are doing. At the
No,
same
I
time,
didn't.
well,
But is that not what it is?
Hold on.
it's not necessarily what it is. I'm not saying that's the complete picture of what it is. You got to think about those other cultures and how those women are treated in general.
Are they
in those
treated
cultures.
equally?
That's the question. Are they treated equally?
I'm asking.
No.
From what you know.
Yes, correct.
And but for black women, we are known to express how we feel. We are known to be able to say like, hell no, you're not going to get that off on me. You're not going to play this game or whatever.
Sure.
So we are the predominant race that does not fit into women are seen, not heard, or the man is first and then the woman and all of that stuff.
What I'm saying to you is that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I didn't say it was.
Well, but that's I want to put that out there though, because it sounds like it almost sounds like you're saying it is a bad thing, right? So I want to pull out. I want to extract.
What I'm giving the reason as to why
I'm
giving the reason as to why you're saying like why black women feel like how we feel.
Right.
I'm speaking for that aspect.
Sure.
What I'm saying is no black woman wants to be independent. Nobody wants to be on their own. You see what I'm saying? Like nobody wakes up and was like, I want to be on my own. It's shit that happens.
Okay.
That makes them feel like it's easier for me to just deal with myself.
Right.
Because it's too much bullshit. The same way that I'm saying with the black man, how some of them, few of them, not all of y'all, want to date outside of your race because it's easier for you to do what you want to do. Because most time a man wants to be in charge. He wants to be in control. He wants to be the one that has the say-so, the final say-so, all of the say-so. Don't fry your face. You're an asshole. You said you already do that stuff.
No, it's not an asshole, but that's just
but you
about.
do
It's
that.
completely different.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You don't want to be in charge of your girlfriend or your relationship? You want to be in charge?
So, what do you mean by being in charge?
You don't want to be like you're the man. You have the final say so.
You being in charge is free good.
That's what you want, right?
No,
you don't want that.
That's not what anybody really wants. If you want that, that's a slave.
I'm asking you, but is that not the man's
so
thing
we have
to be
predetermined roles that each of us plays into a relationship for the most part. Okay. So man being, if you're going to go structurally and use, religions and all that stuff, will be the head of the household for that matter. Okay. And
then just say you want to be the man of the
I'm
house,
say, but
bro.
do you want to be in charge?
That's okay.
Somebody, listen, I need somebody who's
going to respect the fact that you want to be in charge.
Everybody has their roles to play. Being in charge is not something I'm saying that I need to be in charge, because again, I've dated multiple races where it's not even based on that. You're not going to say that,
but your attitude could be, I want to be in charge. I'm the man. I want to be respected. I want what I say to be the final say, and this is what I want out of who I'm dating, because I want to feel important at home.
I'll agree to that just for sake of discussion.
Don't do that.
No, I'm going to ask you a question with that. If that's the case, then why do you need to feel that you need to be in charge?
I don't need to be in charge.
And what's the problem?
But here's the thing: we're in this together.
No, what's the problem? If you don't want to be in charge, and then you're saying, I want to be in charge.
I want to be respected.
No, that's not what you said.
No.
You didn't say respected.
I said men. Did I
said
not say
charge.
men want to be in charge? Did I say I?
Men can be in charge and still respect you.
I'm real clear. But here's the thing.
No, there's a thing.
I am very clear. No, it's not about that. Here's just what you're not going to do because I can.
I'm just trying to get clarification of what you mean by in charge and respect.
Remember, y'all flags are still tied together.
We are. We still tied. We going. We
not finding anything.
I am clear on my role as a woman in my household, in my relationship, and what I'm doing, and I'm clear on it because there's a respect factor between my husband and myself, because we know, like I said in the Venusian episode, I'm only going to go so far because I respect my husband. He's only going to go so far because he respects me. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, in those relationships where the man wants to be in charge, a man needs to feel vindicated, validated, all of those other aids. He's typically going to find a non-black woman, or he's going to find a very passive black woman. That's just what I've seen.
So again, you're
I could be
putting
wrong,
in charge
but I'm asking.
and respect in the same context.
It's not but
because a man can be all those things that you say, the leader, the take charge kind of guy.
But if he don't respect his woman,
hold on, and that's one thing that you need to differentiate from what your statement is.
There's no differentiation.
There is, because I can respect you and give you all the respect, but again, if somebody has to lead, correct? Is it going to be you, or is it going to be your husband?
But why are you still getting back to what I'm saying?
Answer the question.
You're getting back to what I'm saying as far as about a man wanting and needing. What I said to you was,
who's going to lead?
Here's the thing. There's some instances where my husband's going to lead because he's knowledgeable.
Some?
Yeah. There's some instances where he's going to take the lead and the reins and be like, I got this, babe. Like, you won't follow me. And there's some instances where he's like, I'm going to leave this to you because you know better.
Because he respects your decisions and respects you.
You heard the respect?
Which is what I was saying.
Did I just say that before?
I'm trying to figure out how you guys are so far apart. Y'all
because
saying the same thing.
Exactly. I keep saying that, but then he because I'm not saying that.
Hold on.
I'm very clear on what I'm saying.
Relax.
I'm clear.
The From Earth podcast. Relax.
Didn't you start off with violence?
I did. And then y'all I didn't want to do this topic, man.
That's exactly why we did this topic.
I didn't want to do this.
That's why'd you put it on there?
Okay, so
and it's number one.
Hold up.
Am I sorry, Jules, but I need to ask B because he's really too quiet in the corner and he's so controversial. Am I saying something different from what Esso is hearing and keep asking me?
Esso's asking you one very specific question.
What's the question?
And you, from my opinion, you are skirting it.
No, what is the question that he asked? Completely, what's the question? Who wants to be in charge? I just said that. I answered that when I said it's not about in charge, it's about respect. Because if there's respect in that dynamic, then it's not about you're in charge. Because here's the thing, we're all adults. We have the free choice to do what the fuck we want to. So out of respect for you in this relationship, I'm not gonna push you or do something that's gonna cause you to feel where you feel challenged or disrespected. It all goes down to respect. That's what I'm saying.
I got you. And so for me to tie up this, right? And I don't know, B, if you have something to add, you got something to add?
I'm still trying to figure out what the question was that she was answering. Like, what you said that Essa was trying to ask a one question. What was the question you thought he was asking?
Who leads? Right?
Oh, she definitely answered that.
Thank you.
No, she didn't.
I did. She didn't like my answer, but I definitely answered it.
Answer about respect.
So check this out, right? I think that this conversation, which is a really, really good conversation, is a clear indicator of how Black men and Black women at times can have this headbutt type of dynamic. You feel me? Because from what I gather from what you said is that Black women will voice their opinion. They will express themselves. Black men at times will find that to be a turnoff, and Black men will then opt to just date somebody else who won't question them. That was what you were saying. The gist of what you were saying.
Absolutely.
And from what you were saying, SO, is that it's not necessarily about opting out to deal with something easier. He's talking about finding something that's just a good fit for you overall. And not necessarily just saying like it narrows it down to color, because the color thing is just kind of what we were boxed in with from the jump.
Pretty much.
Right? So I got what y'all saying. So all this hostility and anger and back and forth, like this is just kind of how the dynamic goes between Black men and Black women. That's the problematic part of it. It's not necessarily that you're each other can't be understood. You feel me? It's not that. It's that it's always a challenge. This is always the crux of the issue. Who has the time and energy for this? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it, and you clearly have it in your relationship with you and your husband. That's why your relationship is smooth as butter.
Yeah, thank you, Lord.
Right? Boom. So you got it. you got
Because
it.
every time you brag about your boo, some shit
You know,
happens.
but I will say this. I will say this, that all of the stuff that you were talking about before about essentially what I call gatekeeping the black man and the black man to dating black women. I feel like it's a personal preference of a thing.
And that's what I said that.
You can have your bias and your belief is why men do it, but people can do what they want to do.
And I preface that with,
You know,
yeah.
For me, nobody even asked me because I guess I'm just like the default, right? Nobody asked me what I felt.
You are default.
Here's the thing, Joe. Shut up.
The closest thing you did outside of race, she was like a brown skin.
Oh, sorry.
Now, he ain't lying.
But here's my point. Okay, never mind.
All right, so B, before I close out this episode, because we were supposed to only do half hour, we're clearly over that.
Yeah.
Is there anything in this topic or whatever that you want to highlight, bring out, or you good?
No, I'm good.
And so, before I close out this episode, is there anything else that you want to add? Because you brought this controversial ass topic up.
I'm sorry, are these your notes? Oh, they are yours. Okay, I'm just wondering who put that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it though.
It was number one. You thought about that first.
And I bypassed it. All right. Meeks.
I think I just want to just clarify that, like I said, this was a previous concern or it kind of bothered me, but I've worked through it. So like, yeah, interracial dating is not. I just had questions. I had a lot of questions of like, what would make you? Why is that? How come? Here's another question. How come when y'all date outside of y'all race, do y'all have to make the black woman the enemy?
Who
To
is
justify
doing that?
it happens. Don't act like
Yo, you see that? This is gaslighting. This is
This
literally
is
a topic that we're
gaslighting.
talking
How
about.
is that gaslighting?
That's a gaslighting
How?
question.
That's not a gaslighting.
Thank
question,
you.
bro.
Big.
I don't want to have to break ranks here with the fellas, but I gotta
Thanks,
keep it 100,
big.
bro. Like, this is what happens. Like, dudes get with non-black women, and then all of a sudden, it's if these black women weren't this, if they weren't
Thank
doing
you,
that,
big.
why they got to be doing
Thank
this?
you,
Yada yada
big.
yada. Like, if you want to be with someone outside of your race, and then the response to why do you date outside of your race should be, I met this person who's wonderful,
Thank you.
right? Because this person matches with me.
Thank
The
you.
response shouldn't be, well, if black women weren't, insert long list of things that
Thank
doesn't
you.
fucking matter anymore because you're not dating black women.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the problem.
Did that
Thank
happen here
you.
tonight?
That's what she's asking. She's
No, but
asking why does that happen?
But I'm asking you, did that happen when Essa was asked?
No, but that's not. Well,
I'm asking.
So I'm gonna
asking.
keep it real. The whole this is gonna open your eyes up to the rest of the world. That's nonsense, bro. I don't agree with that, and I don't rock with that. If that's saying that there's no worldly black women around that can expose you to different things about life, I can't rock with that. But if that's how you feel, that's cool. That's how you feel. I don't feel that way.
Look. I'm looking from a different cultural perspective, right? And there's different things how I've seen in those cultures that just how women have treated their men, how their upbringings are, and I'm actually generally interested in how that comes about. So it just kind of gives me context. Now again,
Sociologist ass nigga, what?
No,
Don't put him on. Don't you do that, evil Ricky
I'm
Bobby.
saying
He's over here studying cultures
No.
one vagina at a time.
Nope.
listen,
No, we are a great field over here.
if you want to limit yourself to what you're comfortable with, that's
It's
fine.
not about limiting yourself. Why you have to limit yourself because you don't choose to be outside your race?
It's a choice you just said.
But why are you limiting yourself because you choose not to date outside your race?
See, this is the
What do you
gaslighting
mean?
part. This is where black women get upset when we say shit like this, bro.
Thank you.
Like, that's what's happening here. This is
Because
why they get upset about
I
it.
didn't choose to say I'm going to strictly date outside my race. I
But
didn't say
no,
that.
when you
No one's-
say
no one's
stuff, when you
faulting you
make
for
the
that.
What I'm
comment
saying
of,
is, there's outside of what I already grew up in, and I've seen my mother and her sisters and all this stuff, and your cousins and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's the same story.
so here's my question.
So what I'm saying is there another story to be written? Is there another story to be told? So let me see
All
for
black
myself,
women are the same?
bro.
Is that what you're saying right
I'm
now?
not saying that. What I'm saying, I've seen what we have to offer based on what I'm limited to see.
So here's my question. Are you
You only know what you
See,
know.
this is why I said I have nothing else to say. You could have ended the
You
show.
only
Why
know
you
what you
said
know.
anything?
okay? So we're gonna go ahead and end. We're gonna take this off the mic because I definitely I want more. I have more questions about this. So go ahead on and do your little wrap up so we can finish.
Ain't no wrap up. We done.
Okay.
Julius Murray signing out. Peace.